The Raiders just took out an insurance policy on Fernando Mendoza. And that's the biggest red flag yet, that Fernando Mendoza has no business being the number 1 overall pick in the draft.
These are lies!
I love Fernando Mendoza. Love him. I don't love him at number 1. And neither do the Raiders. That's why they just signed Kirk Cousins. When you have the number 1 overall pick and you're taking a quarterback, you don't take out an insurance policy. You don't say, oh, well, let me get a guy that can come in here and start for 6 to 17 games. Let me come in here and draft someone that we think is a franchise quarterback. We think is John Elway. We think is Terry Bradshaw. We think is Troy Aikman. We think of Andrew Luck. We think of Peyton Manning. There were no insurance policies taken out on these guys. They were thrown to the wolves. They were thrown out. Hey, he's the number 1 overall pick. He's a franchise quarterback. He's got all the right tools. We don't need to sign Kirk Cousins or some other stopgap quarterback to start. And I'm talking about old era, new era, whatever era. When you really believe your quarterback is that guy, you don't sign a side piece.
You're too Tom.
And that's what Kirk Cousins is. He's a side piece. He's been a side piece everywhere he's been. When the Washington Redskins drafted him in the 4th, 5th round, whatever, he was a side piece for RG3. Kirk Cousins is the perpetual side piece. A damn good one. A high-paid side piece. He gets to stick his head out the car and say, hey, look, I'm the side piece. When you got the number 1 overall pick and you got to pay all that money, the number 1 pick is a guy that, like, man, this is a can't-miss prospect. I got the number 1 pick in the draft, particularly when the draft is loaded. This draft is loaded with surefire starters, probably a few Hall of Famers, guys that can help you win right now. And the Raiders signed a side piece.
Come on out here, because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
They signed an insurance policy because they're not so sure Fernando Mendoza is that guy. I don't care what Louis Riddick says, how impressed he was that Fernando Mendoza called out the names of the wide receivers and said their routes and all this other stuff.
I said, I've never seen a quarterback in an individual pro day, every receiver that came up announced that guy's name and what route he was going to run.
I don't care. And I like Fernando Mendoza. I like him late in the 1st round, early in the 2nd round. I love all the intangibles he brings to the table. This guy is a submitted, natural leader. He's going to follow that coach, Klint Kubiak. He's going to submit and be very coachable. He's going to do for the NFL team what he did for Kirk Cousins in Indiana. He's going to submit and be all in with the program. I love it. He's got the intangibles, I believe, that made Tom Brady great. But they're intangibles. And you have to remember, Tom Brady started out as a side piece. And he turned into Bill Belichick's number 1 bottom chick. That's the path for Fernando Mendoza. I love Fernando. I don't like him number 1 overall. Jalen Hurts thinks he has the dream team. He thinks he's got Johnny Cochran, Robert Shapiro, Barry Scheck, F. Lee Bailey, Carl Douglas. That's not what he's got. He doesn't even have an Alan Dershowitz. What he's got is the scheme team. He's got an all-female support team, his agent, the whole 9 yards. And the scheme team has turned Jalen Hurts into the drama queen.
Excuse me?
When you put an all-female advisory staff around you, drama's going to come along with it, and he's got it. There's more talk in Philadelphia about what a problem Jalen Hurts is and how he can't get along with his teammates and how he wants a simplified, stupid offense and how he can't handle being the man.
Okay? You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Should we be surprised? The people he turns to advice, it's a group of women. That doesn't work in professional football. That doesn't work in a man's world. And yes, they're trying to turn this into a woman's world, but it doesn't work. So, Nicole Lynn, Chantel Romaine, Shakima Simmons Winter, Rachel Everett, Jenna Malfris, his drama queen team, his scheme team. They're devising schemes that don't work in a football world. They can't manage his image. They can't manage him as he tries to manage his relationship with A.J. Brown and the rest of his Philadelphia Eagles teammates. When the going gets tough and you turn to a group of women that would be better served operating on The View.
Get out of my vagina!
Rather than as Jalen Hurts' advisory team, a group of advisors, his wise counsel, his elders, his deacons.
Gather the elders and let's talk.
Jalen, open the Bible. There were 12 disciples, and there were no drama queens part of that 12 disciples. It was mostly, the Bible's mostly a book about what men do when they gather together and advise each other, and when iron sharpens iron. Yes, there are some women. Yes, Deborah was great. But overall, it's a man thing, and you need to be surrounded by male leadership.
Bros before hoes, Troy.
If you want to know why Jalen Hurts continues to struggle, why he can appear in 2 Super Bowls, win a Super Bowl, and still have this kind of conversation, this much noise around him, this many teammates disgruntled, this many people whispering behind his back, talking about he's not the guy, he's not ready, he can't handle the leadership, he's not developing as a leader of men.
You just don't get it, okay? This is what men do. Yeah. This is what men do.
Jalen Hurts, get rid of the scheme team.